video I've actually been dying to do, and it's a video series that you guys seem to be really enjoying. I am doing my favorite books for the month of December. I love children's books. I really do. I can't get enough of them. Half the time when I'm buying children's books, I'm not even buying them for my students or my own boys. I'm buying them for myself because I love children's books. And without a doubt, some of my all-time favorites are Christmas themed, December themed, winter themed. And even though I teach in a district that, Christmas and Christians, it's actually a minority in my district. A lot of my children are Muslim, whether they're Bengali or one of the Middle Eastern countries, or even a lot of the Bosnian children in my district half the Bosnian children are Christian, half are Muslim. So the majority of my class is actually Muslim. But I find that over the years, as long as you stick to the secular themes of Christmas, they love the Christmas themes and the colors and the lights, and they really get into it. And knock on wood, I've yet to really have a parent complain that you shouldn't talk about this in the room, we don't want you to address it. I will say though that I make a point of honoring all of the religious holidays. So we do talk about Ramadan in class, we will talk about Eid, we talk about Diwali, we talk about Kwanzaa, we talk about Hanukkah. So I am very, very careful to be very inclusive. And I'm going to do another video down the road about how I recognize the books I use to recognize all of the holidays. But right now I'm going to do the Christmas video books that I love. And these are books that I've shared in my classroom over the years, as well as the books I read to my own boys. I have 2 boys and my youngest is 8 years old. He still loves to be read to every single night. So a lot of these books I have 2 copies of them. I have my copy here at home and I have a copy at school. So yeah, it's pretty funny. I have a very high budget that I spend on books every year. So I'm going to start off with the 2 books that are without a doubt my 2 favorite children's Christmas books. And they're not books that most of you will probably even know. They're books that they speak to me. They touch my heart. The images, the illustrations are beyond breathtaking, and the themes are really old-time magical Christmas themes. So the first one is called A Pussycats Christmas. And yes, the children will always make fun of the title of this book. You just shush them up real quick and tell them that this is not a bad word. This is a real name to call a kitty. And so, but the illustrations in here are simply to die for. Oh, it's beautiful. The story itself is about a little cat who knows it's Christmas time because of the sights, the sounds, the smells, the shush of the snow. And I've always loved this book. And there's one page that talks about Santa, and then everything else is just her with the family and how the family treats her at Christmas time and the decorations in the house. I believe this is like my 4th copy of this book because children love it, I love it, it gets worn out, and I love this book. I love this book. The next one is called On Christmas Eve by Margaret Wise Brown, and this is another one where it's a quiet book. It's not funny or exciting. It's really that nighttime magic of Christmas. And so you have the white covered blanketed town in snow, and then you have the children in their beds who are just way too excited to sleep. So they decide to get up and sneak downstairs. They make sure mom's not looking. And the house is cold because the heat hasn't kicked on yet. And when they get to the family room, everything just looks magical and they're literally speechless at just the beauty of it all. And there's the stockings over the fireplace and the assorted toys and goodies. And then they sneak back upstairs before mom and dad wake up so that they don't get in trouble. And again, This is one of those books that just kind of touches my heart. It reminds me of my own childhood and Christmas mornings, and Casey really loves this book a lot. We read it every year. So yeah, these two, without question. Oh, I didn't even realize it. This is also a Margaret Wise Brown book. All right, so my two favorite books are both by Margaret Wise Brown. So I didn't even realize that she wrote both of those. But yeah, I love those books. And again, I will be sure to link all these books in the description box below. Some of these books, again, are old. You might be able to buy them off the marketplace on Amazon or even eBay. But if there's a link available, I'll be sure to link them down below. This is one that my boys love. My boys loved all the dinosaur books. They just think they are the greatest books around. And this one is How Does a Dinosaur Say Merry Christmas? And this one is a fun book. The children in your classroom will laugh out loud as you're reading this through. And so it's about all the naughty things that a dinosaur could be doing at Christmas time. Peeking and trying to get into trouble. But by the end of the book you realize, no, good dinosaurs would never do those things. They do everything just like they're supposed to do. They hang up their stockings. They don't make messes, and they sing carols, they help out, and they're just good little dinosaurs, so that by Christmas morning they get to have their presents and their treats and everything good. So yeah, and it ends with a Merry Christmas. Merry Christmas, you good dinosaur. So this is just a really cute one. It's a fun one. It's also a really fast read. So like if you've got something you're doing finishes and you've got like 4 or 5 minutes to kill before it's time to go somewhere or do something, this is a really good book to grab to fill in a very small amount of time. Another one that I love is called The Puppy Who Wanted a Boy. And this one really, excuse me, doesn't have a lot of Christmas in it. It's really more a book that just happens to be happening at Christmas time. And through the whole book, you have this little puppy named Petey who wants a boy for Christmas. That's all he wants. And so through the whole book, he's looking to find a boy to take him, but every boy he comes across already has a dog and just doesn't need Petey. And so by the very end of the story, Petey stumbles upon a little sad boy who just happens to live in an orphanage or a boys' home. And the little boy takes Petey, and luckily the people at the orphanage let him keep Petey. And suddenly Petey doesn't have one boy for Christmas, but an entire house full of boys who are absolutely delighted to have this adorable puppy in their orphanage. So he is a very lucky puppy indeed, because he got tons of boys for Christmas. Right? And again, it's just another one of those little magical stories that touch on your heartstrings. And then another book I have here, and I have a whole pile, so I hope you grabbed a cup of tea or something, because this might take a while, it's Christmas David by David Shannon, and all kids love David books, whether they're kindergartners, second graders, fourth graders, all kids love David books, because all kids can identify with David to at least a little bit. So it's Christmas David, and as always, he is David, being David, and he's getting in all kinds of trouble. No peeking, no snitching, those are not toys. And then there's always one page the kids absolutely love and laugh. Santa's watching David. So there's little David streaking down the sidewalk, buck naked, and the kids will laugh. And so, yeah, it's a fun book. Again, it's a very quick read. The boys in your classroom will figure out real fast what this is. The girls will be a little confused. But by the end, he does get a Christmas morning. And so, yeah. So David is a very naughty boy who tries to be good, but everything he tries to do just never seems to work out for him. And I think we all know a lot of kids that qualify in that category. The next one I have here is from John Grogan, A Very Marley Christmas. I love all the Marley books. I just do. The illustrations are gorgeous, and the stories are always fun and very entertaining. And again, maybe I have a soft spot for naughty things. I don't know. Could be. But so you have Cassie and baby Louie and Marley, and they're really excited. And Marley tries to help. He really does. He wants to be a good dog, kind of like David. But everything he tries to do just has a habit of going wrong. So, but they're getting the house ready, they're decorating, and Marley's making mess after mess, knocks the tree over, and so, yeah. But then one of the things that Cassie's really upset about is there's no snow for Christmas. She's like, how can it be Christmas if there's no snow? How can Santa's sleigh land on the roof? So, but then it's Christmas morning, and surprise, during the night it has snowed a bunch. So it's a really charming book, and Marley is just the cutest puppy around. And yeah, it's hard not to love the Marley books. I love all of them. They've got Marley and the Kittens, there's a Marley Halloween one, Marley Goes to School, Bad Dog Marley. Yeah, there's a bunch of them, and they're just the cutest things around. The next one I have is a classic, and this is Jan Brett's The Night Before Christmas. And I was surprised it took her so long to actually do this book, because Jan Brett, she's just an amazing artist and illustrator. Everything she does is just gorgeous. So, but it took her a very, very long time to get around to making a Christmas book. So, but then she did, and she never disappoints. As always, everything in here is visually stunning to look at. She has her little side action pictures that are telling a different story, while the center illustration is always telling the story going on in the book. And you've got all the little creatures sleeping, and then the visions of sugar plums. And it's the traditional story. She doesn't change the story at all. And I do find that when you're reading The Night Before Christmas to a class of students, and even your own children, you kind of have to stop and explain a few things, because there's words in here that are just not common in the English vernacular anymore. So you explain the things that they mean, but it is a beautiful book, and I was so happy when she finally did her version of A Night Before Christmas. Because I actually have like probably 10 different books of this story, and again, it's always all about the illustrations, and she just did the best, without question. Another storybook that I love for Christmas time is Dewey's Christmas at the Library. And I always make a point in October or November to read the first book, Dewey the Library Cat. And it's the true story about a cat named Dewey Read More Books, and how he came to be in the library. The librarian found him in the drop box one day, and she cleaned him up. And then it's his true story of how he lives in the library and how he plays with the children there. And then she made the second book, Dewey's Christmas at the Library, and it's just as adorable and as charming as her first book. And the illustrations by Steve James are just really beautiful. So she shows the town in Spencer, Iowa. And then there's Dewey with all the Halloween and Thanksgiving decorations. And then the Christmas stuff comes out. And like all kitties, he just loves the Christmas tree and all the trimmings and the bags and everything. So he's getting into lots of mischief. But because Dewey really does live in the library, he is actually very upset on, okay, let me find the page here, on Christmas Eve and Christmas Day, because he ends up being at the library alone. There's no one there to visit him. But then he takes string and he decorates the tree himself. And so there you see a very sad Dewey on Christmas Eve and Christmas Day, because he's lonely. He has his mouse. But then he gets real playful, and he makes a Dew-rific tree. And the tree actually wins the contest that the city is doing for the main street for all the different trees. So it's a really cute book, and I know children are always really interested when they see that, there's a cat in the shop or something. So it's just, again, it's charming, it's beautiful. My next book for Christmas I love is called An Elf for Christmas, and I'm sure you will notice that I have a trend going on here. It's all about the pictures. It really is for me. I love a good story, but for Christmas, I want those magical pictures. And this is about Tingle the elf, who lives at the North Pole and helps Santa make all of his toys. But one day, he fell asleep in one of the toy airplanes that he was making. And he got packaged up, put in Santa's sleigh, and delivered for Christmas morning. And so the little boy thinks that Tingle is part of the toy. He thinks it's a remote control airplane that's being flown by an elf. And so Tingle is scared to death. He's holding very still. But then nighttime comes and Tingle's like, I have to get home. So he gets in that airplane and finds a way out of the house by going up the chimney. And then the rest of the story is his adventure making it back to the North Pole. And how does he get there? And the polar bear finally takes him the last bit of the way. And when he gets there, he's afraid that he's missed all the fun, but he finds that Santa and all of his friends have been waiting for him, and they have a big party that he's back. And then Joey, the boy, gets a brand new airplane because his was defective. So yes, it's a really cute and charming book, and the kids enjoy it. My last book for this one, I apologize, this video's gotten pretty long, is Oliver All Alone by Christine Harris, illustrated by Catherine Walters. And this is a book about a little puppy named Oliver whose family has left for Christmas Eve and he's home alone. And so he doesn't understand why he's home alone, but all night long he keeps seeing monsters. And the monsters all end up having an explanation. You know, these monsters ended up being pillows and wrapping paper and gifts. And then, ooh, here's an evil snow monster. That's really just a jolly snowman. And then, ooh, what's this monster on the kitchen table? Oh no, it's the family's turkey that they were going to have for Christmas dinner. And so he kind of gets himself into a lot of mischief and breaks a lot of things like new puppies tend to do. And throughout the whole story, he keeps hearing this thump, 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 and that's what he keeps going through the whole house. He's trying to find out what monster is making the thump, thump, thump sound. And it turns out when his family gets home, by the time his family gets home, Santa has come and gone and left him a big bone. And when the family gets back, he's so happy that he is thump, thump, thumping his tail on the floor. So you realize by the last page that the monster in the house making the thump, thump, thump noise is actually Oliver himself, wagging his tail and bumping it on the floor. And with that, I'm going to go ahead and stop right here. I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope you enjoyed this list of books I have. And if you have any comments or questions, be sure to ask them in the description box below. I will be sure to link all the links I can for Amazon, so if there's something here you want to share with your class or your own children, you can access it pretty quick. If you like this video, give it a thumbs up. And if you want to see more from me in the future, click the subscribe button, and I'll talk to you later.